On this episode of Train Time, we will travel to the Feather River route, formerly used by Western Pacific through the Sierra Nevada mountains. The railroad town of Portola features a railroad museum and a viewing area for watching trains as they come through town, stop, and change crews. The museum displays many locomotives, rolling stock, and maintenance of way equipment. Guests can pay to operate a locomotive on the museum grounds. The Feather River route has some of the best scenic areas in California. The Caddy Y is a well-known display of creative bridge work in the Sierra Nevada mountains. Tracks from two directions merge at the Caddy Y to go through the tunnel in the mountain. As we start the program, videographer Charles Kadike is filming a train carrying cars filled with old railroad ties. This broad, flat plain near Beckworth, California, allows a railroad to have a very long, straight track through the agricultural fields that lead to the Feather River Canyon. Within a few minutes, another train follows behind with a load of automobiles. In the fields, we see the irrigation equipment which make giant circles on large gardens. The wind is blowing in Portola. The flags say that the railroad town of Portola is the pride of the West and features a locomotive in the center. This is a railroad town. The California state flag shows the grizzly bear as the state's animal. Coming through Portola is a mixed freight with bulk shipments of fuel, frozen goods, grain, and corn syrup. The engineer toots as the train passes the crew quarters and museum. An old Berlin Mills boxcar from New Hampshire is here in California. Portola will celebrate its railroad heritage with a festival in August. Window displays by a local artist invite everyone to the festivities. Look how clean the streets and sidewalks are. The Feather River Rail Society is located in Portola in the 16,000 square foot diesel shop built in 1953 and formerly used by Western Pacific. The museum has 37 locomotives. It has 80 freight cars. The museum is trying to collect as many of the California Zephyr passenger cars as possible. It has 3 cars in the Silver series, the Silver Hostel, Silver Lodge, and the Silver Plate. The dome car Silver Rifle is from the California Railroad Museum in Sacramento. Engine 805A is the last surviving California Zephyr locomotive. We see only 3 of the 15 cabooses the museum has collected. Engine 6946 was the last of the Centennial locomotives built. Inside the diesel shop are ongoing renovation projects. In the gift shop is a series of N-scale dioramas depicting several favorite railfan locations on the Feather River route. The museum sponsors a Run a Locomotive program. Guests can rent a locomotive for an hour and run it around the 2.5 miles of track located on 37 acres of land at the Portola yard. Guests can use a balloon track for turning locomotives around. A certified engineer remains in the cab to teach the guests how to operate the locomotive and to ensure their safety. Guests can run the locomotive, blow the horn, and return to the gift shop to get the t-shirt to prove it.
The usual warning. At the bottom, it says, vandals and thieves will be beaten to a bloody pulp and the remains shipped to Elko on the next eastbound train.
Just outside the museum, another train is arriving from the Feather River Canyon. As they approach Portola, trains run along the Feather River and pass by the museum, which is behind the Portola crew quarters. The train stops to allow for a crew change. In the meantime, another train is entering Portola and coming to a stop. These are a few of the 60,000 blue Pacer stack train containers. Pacer introduced the double-stack container arrangement in 1984 and transports any kind of merchandise which can be placed in a container. The crew van leaves for another location. The crew change is about to take place in the second train in Portola. The passing siding in Portola is about 2 miles long. The moving train has some distance to travel before it encounters the switch, which will get it back to a single track. The train in the foreground is following the switch at the end of the train, so the background train will stop until the next crew moves the train. This switch stand allows locomotives, rolling stock, and maintenance equipment to be moved into the Portola Railroad Museum. The Williams Loop allows a train to change elevation by making a large circle and running through the tunnel under itself. The Keddy Y is a famous double bridge over Spanish Creek. The Feather River route was built in 1909 as an alternate route from San Francisco to Salt Lake City. It competed with Donna Pass, but was chosen because the elevation was 5,221 feet as compared to the more than 7,000 feet of Donna Pass. We hope you've enjoyed this brief presentation of trains on the Feather River route. There are more train shows to come from California.